And we're back, folks. Hey, look at me. Who be he? It's that boy D. Let me show you some of the stuff I used to do, when I was known in the crew for being the fool, right? So I would come up to light switches and I'd be like, oh, oh. And then I'd be like, oh, oh. And I broke a switch or two that, I recommend these ones. If you got the old switches, you might bust them, right? But it gets some of that in there, right? And then I would find countertop like you start low, right? But countertops are great for you don't want to be all like you want to try and stand up as erect as possible, right? To where you can anyway. And then I would do little flexion because here's what's going to freak out. Most people, your calf is going to freak out from balancing, right? But this is a good way to read a book or watch TV and get that little 2-inch, because that's all you need. If you're right here and then all of a sudden, boom, that's all you need. What? And then eventually, as you get used to being at that level, and you raise it. Next thing you know, that's nothing. That's just part of the product, right? But I used to go like this. I would start at front leg, and everything's at like scissors, straight. Keep your legs straight, no bending, no. You want to be like a stick figure, right? And so then from here, I'm by the way, I'm way out of shape. This hurts right now. I'm screaming, just pretending not to, right? So standing right here, I'm getting a stretch. And let me see if I can lower the camera so you can get a better idea. Quit looking. All right, so legs straight. My foot, you can't really see it. My foot's faced this way. So I got my foot on the ground like this. This foot is like this, right? And what I would do like 30 seconds. I would count in Mandarin. I'd be like, E, R, San, Se. Or I'd be like, Uno, dos, tres, right? And I would go up to like 30, sometimes a minute. Then I would take the foot on the ground and I'd go like this, whoop. But I keep this leg the same. So now, I know I don't need to, but I will anyway. See how my foot is? It went from this to this. Probably terrible angle, whatever, right? And so now here I am. Same thing. Here I am. Same thing, right? I'm erect. My legs are at 90s. Everything's square. There ain't no bends. These aren't some crooked scissors for cutting, like medical scissors, right? Everything's straight. And then from here, after I do another, 30 seconds, right? A minute, depends, right? Then I would roll the hip. Notice I'm not like this. I'm up, right? The goal is get your hip out further than your knee. Get your hip over your toe. Hey, by the way, knee over toes guy. Yeah. All that, it's not good for your knees to go over. Shut up, right? So anyway, roll your hip. Whoop. Oh, look at that action, right? It should be that simple. Whoop. And here, let me lower the camera again because, most of this is spontaneous, by the way. I'm not all professional. I'm not Marshall Club. But anyway, so from right here, that's all it took. I went from this, super straight up. I went from this to this to this, right? And then from here, same thing. I would do a little bit of flexion. I mean, initially, I would try to just sort it out, get it all comfortable. But from right here, and then I would reach. Sometimes a little bit of internal, turning in, internal rotation, right? Because one thing I'll say, a lot of people think that you got to be all super sideways to throw a side kick. No, I've been right here, square, boom, and I throw it, and that's a side kick. You wouldn't think so, but I've thrown a side kick being square, boom. So having that little bit of, it's good. It's a good thing, right? And then the flexion, whoop, whoop, whoop. You don't need to be way up here chambered. You don't need to do that. I've been folded in half by a girl this big who took me right at the hip, and she just, boop, that's it. Boop, real subtle. I came in, and and it was like, wow, right? So anyway, a little bit of flexion, a little bit of flexion. And you want to keep that heel, focus on your heel too. You know, some people say you're hitting, don't look at that. Some people say you're hitting with the blade of the foot. I think the heel's the way to go. Unless you're hitting them with a hook kick. And then, is it a heel hook kick or is it a slap hook kick? Who knows, right? So this, and this is building up this, because this is what's going to freak out. And your calf is what's going to freak out, right? And then from here, I turn the foot that's facing this way, that way, whoop, and now it's kind of like a back kick, right? And again, my calf is on fire, my calf is burning, but the stretch and the burn up here is hopefully distracting from the calf being on fire. Or the calf being on fire is distracting from, you know, the hip being on fire. I'd use other words, but, you know, and you keep flexing it, right? And then maybe, and this is how we did in China, they'd have us doing this one. Oh yeah, these stretches, you know, they're Mando. And so, and now all this, and so yeah, there's nothing. If you got a tight hip flexor or whatever they want to call it, if your life sucks because of hip pain, back pain, you know, you don't need meds. You need to do something, right? And I'm not saying go out there and start, you know, trying to kick yourself in the forehead, but something better than nothing, you know? I started out with a lot of stretches. That's the one thing about Shaolin Kung Fu that I will say is there is a lot of Qigong, but just basic physical fitness that people just forgot. They're like, oh, I don't know how to make this pain go. Stretch it. Oh, I don't know why I feel weak right here. Exercise. No, let me go to the doctor and have him start cutting chunks out of me and giving me drugs so I don't realize there's something wrong. It's retarded. But hey, welcome to the West. You know, your host, Matt Manville. I nobody calls me that, by the way, except Blake McKernan. Hey, Blake, good luck on your upcoming. That dude's coming for blood, bro. It's like Rocky and Apollo. I already know it.